Hello and welcome back. This is the Clay Golem. This is Foundry VTT. This is Curse of Strahd. We are back looking at continuing to build this adventure and the export pack for you guys to be able to use and share. So it's been a few weeks because life has been quite hectic recently, hence a massive slowdown in videos. But hopefully you've got a bit of time to actually catch up a bit. So this video is probably going to be a little bit all over the place. I just need to pick up where I left off with creating this. So far we have, you can see on the left hand side there, I've got the Curse of Strahd pack open, the landing and intro, the Death House, Welcome to Barovia, Into the Valley, St Andrew's Feast, the Missing Vistani, and we're currently looking at the Watchers, the Wachterhaus2. I've got that spelt wrong. Wachterhaus2, yes, okay. Gotta get it right. It's the Wachterhaus2. Gotta get those names correct. So that's where we're up to. So what the process is here, because especially around this area in Vallaki, it gets really potentially very confusing for the DM. Of it's not linear at all, and they can side with different factions and go off and do whatever they want. So it's quite difficult. So just to walk you through the process, what I'm doing here. So this is the Dragnacarta's Curse of Strahd Reloaded that we're following. And what's useful is for this Arc F that we're looking at, the Lady Wachter's Wish, we have down the right hand side these areas. So for me, what I'm doing is basically saying, right, the Blue Water Inn is going to feature, so I need to make sure I have a scene for the Blue Water Inn. I need to have a scene for the Wachterhaus itself. So this is all role playing in here, which is fine. So working through those, I make sure that I put the right characters and things into the maps in sensible places. Return to the Blue Water Inn. If there's a drastic change to the way that the blue water looks, so for example when they turn up at first there's nobody there, and when they turn up later there's a big party going on, then I will duplicate the Blue Water Inn scene and have it reset, restaged, ready for when they come in, to save myself but also anybody else who uses the pack from having to go, oh blimey, I need to get rid of all these actors and bring all these other ones on in the middle of game. Then we get to Isaac's assassination, which can happen in a number of places. So, but that's not a particular location. So for that, it talks about planting the poisoned wine by going back to the Burgomaster's house to do that there. So we need a Burgomaster's scene. So if I just come back over here, you can see I've got the Blue Water Inn, the Wachterhaus, the Burgomaster's mansion for that potential assassination. But I've also got gate inspections, because if they follow him around looking for an opportunity, he might end up at the town square. In fact, actually, I could do with renaming these slightly, because that should be the town square B1, because they could follow him there. They could follow him to the gate inspections. So again, so that is actually number 3 according to Dragnacarta's. And that's all I'm really doing to kind of make sure I've got the right scenes in. So you can see we've got on them here, we've got, if they're trailing Isaac, they've got the town square, they've got the spies. So if we have a look, where does this take place? Nowhere in particular. It's just about overhearing them. Yeah, several of their neighbours recently visited the Morning Gate, blah, 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 blah. The gate inspections is an actual location that we can use. And the end of the day, he dismisses his 2 guards and proceeds on. He travels to Belinsky's Toys. Now we don't have a map for Belinsky's Toys. We've only got a scene image for it, which is fine. So we don't need to worry about that. And that's where he picks up the doll. And then they talk about ambushing. So after retrieving the doll, he proceeds north through the Zvaroch Gate until arriving at Lake Zarovich. So maybe we need Lake Zarovich there in case they decide to basically jump him right there. So I've already got a Lake Zarovich. Let's check to see if that scene is suitable, because again, this one's only images. Now we did have a and this is a challenge, isn't it, is making sure that we've covered, not just for my party but for you guys as well, that we've covered all of the bases and we've given you enough so that you can deal with these particular challenges as and when they arise for the party. I mean, this is the crossroads. We could reuse the crossroads if they follow him there. The Svalich Road, again, that's the crossroads, but with an extra image. So the question becomes, how much do I worry about that, to be perfectly honest? If they do decide to ambush, it depends where they're going to ambush. Might not be at the lake, you see. Then we've got the aftermath of the mission. So if they deliver his severed head, that's pleasant, isn't it? And that will be back at the Wachterhaus again. So that's fine. The abdication, Vlakisgard gathered townsfolk in the square. Top the scaffolding erected for the blazing sun. So again, this is the town square we need. We've already got that. Just have a quick sip of tea. And then reward. So we're kind of at the end of this bit anyway. And I think we've probably got the right amount of milestones in for this. So what we need to do is close that and make sure we're going to go through and just make sure all of these things correlate correctly with what the module's kind of suggesting. So it talks about where they come back here at some point to the Blue Water Inn, and depending upon previous actions, they may or may not get a letter delivered to them from Erwin. So we need to make sure Erwin is in there. Erwin's wife is in. Is his wife, isn't it? They've got different last names, but I think it's his wife. But anyway, we've also got the two kids. Now the two kids are normally upstairs playing. Yeah, there they are, Brom and Bray. So good, we've got them in. That's not a problem. It doesn't talk about any other particular people being in the Blue Water Inn, but we might want to just make sure there's a couple of NPCs hanging around, or otherwise it's a bit weird. I also need to make sure I drop my NPCs into that NPC folder. Again, not too much of a concern for me, but when you guys get hold of this, you want to be able to find your people relatively easy. So who have we got in the NPCs here that I can just copy over? We can nick this person if I just duplicate, and I'm going to pull them over here, and then I can just edit them to get rid of that word copy, because in fact, actually, I'm just going to call them patron. And then I'm going to prototype token. Update that. Lovely jubbly. And then we can pop them out into the pub so they're having a drink. Now, I'm still not 100% comfortable with my scales in this pub. You know, if you look at the chairs, it doesn't make an awful lot of sense. But then when you look at the doorways, a 5-foot doorway is plenty. Yeah, the scaling is interesting on the map compared to the size of the people. Let's stick you down there perhaps. And if you're going to be sitting there, we're going to put the lamp on at your table. Okay, so you've got some lighting on your table as you're sitting there. There's little things like that that I like to do, so you haven't got to fiddle around with them when you first come to this scene. They may assume, oh, there's somebody in the inn, therefore they must be important, but actually a lot of the time they're not. Okay, I'm happy with that. That's fine. Obviously, when you're doing your own setup, if you want to put more people in and stuff, you absolutely can do that. Not going to try and tell you how to run your game, of course. Now, in the Wachterhaus itself, now you can see I've got all the maps set up. I've got all the I've got all of the lights on. I've got all the walls and everything in, but I haven't got any people in here. So again, all I'm doing is reading through the module, and it tells me about it's largely described as in the original module, but with the following changes. Which is fine. So I do need to make sure I've got the original module open, and this is what we mean by Dragna Carters is brilliant, but because of copyright they can't completely replace it. That would be that wouldn't be fair on the original authors, would it? So you do need a copy of the original actual module itself. So I'm just bringing that up now, and obviously I need to be slightly careful about showing that to you as well. Because again, copyright. So this talks about Stella's bedroom doesn't Stellar Watcher doesn't scratch at her door or call out to the players in that area. Additionally, it's neither musty. Storage room, manuscript treaties, master bedroom, that's all fine. So welcome to the Wachterhaus. I'm just reading in my other window. I'm reading this bit here now. And I know this is why I often do these bits off. I'll build the scene and then I'll do these bits off screen, because it's a fair bit of me doing reading and checking things, and that's not a very interesting video. Yet I'm doing it in this one just to show you the process, really, because we've had a bit of a gap. So when the players arrive, when the players knock upon arrival, Lady Watcher's valet Halleck opens the door. So that immediately tells me that, get rid of the missing Mephistophani, I need a new NPC called, make sure it's an NPC. What did I say his name was? It was Valek, wasn't it? Halleck. Let's copy and paste it. Because, you know, otherwise I'm going to get it wrong. So Halleck. Did it say he's a butler or did it not say? It said it's valet. Halleck the valet. I'm not sure if they've done that on purpose. So I'm going to go off and find images for that soon. But once I've created these people, then I can go and do those images. Opens the door, warmly welcomes the player using the same formal address used in Lady Watcher's letter. Halleck is prim and proper butler. First offers to take the players' coats and their other belongings, which he stores in the closet. So where they're going to be coming in, where's the main door? So they're going to be coming in here, and here we go. We've got, you can just about see through the rain and everything else that there's a closet here and a closet here. And if I open the doors, the light floods in, a bit easier for you to see. He then leads them to the staircase. So staircase up here. Yeah, it leads them to the leads the players to the staircase, from which they can smell an assortment of delicious scents, both sweet and savoury, wafting from the kitchen, which will be this area here on the right. He then guides the players through the dining room and invites them to take their seats in the parlour, which I assume is this part here, without double checking on the map. After determining which players would like a glass of wine, he assures them that Lady Watcher will be with them shortly and excuses himself. The players have a few moments to take stock and discuss their surroundings. Should they investigate the den, which will be this bit here? I just want to, I need to check these two the wrong way around. This might be the den. Not sure. Double check that. In fact, actually, I've got it in the other window. Hang on a second. Let's check. So the K. So what does it say? So it takes them through the dining room. So I mean, it's a bit awkward, isn't it, doing this on camera for you guys? It's a little bit, you know, what are you on about? So that's why I don't normally do this bit. Okay, so J is the dining room, which is here, which is not surprising. To the parlour I. So this is the parlour, yeah, with these sofas here. And then it talked about them going to the den K to explore. So that is the den on the left and the parlour is on the right. Okay, so we've got that, which is good. Both find both doors to be locked anyway. Okay, so that's useful. So that door needs to be locked. Update that. Now, what did that wording say exactly? Did that say, it said both doors? Or to the servants' quarter, they find both doors are locked. So that's that one there as well. So let's just lock that. There we go. So these are the kind of things I say I do off camera. It's just go through after I built everything, read through the module, make sure doors that are supposed to be secret are secret, doors that are supposed to be locked are locked, etc. Throughout the evening, Ernst Lanark, Lady Watcher Spy, silently eavesdropped on the player's conversation from the den as described in that. So we've got another person there, so we ought to make sure we've got them created as a character, or otherwise, even though they're supposed to be spying, you never know when your party's going to kick down a door they're not supposed to, even in polite company, and if there is somebody else in that room, you really need to be ready for it. Speaks the voice of experience. Right, so what was Ernst? I think I might have an Ernst already. Ernst, I've lost where it is. Larnack. Ernst Larnack. So let's check to see if Ernst has appeared before. No. For some reason I thought that name sounded familiar, but it might be where I've read the module several times. Okay, so we would expect to see them in there. We've got no Ernst, that's fine. So there's another one I'm going to go off and create. So I need to create the valet, and Ernst, the spy. And then it says, shortly after the players arrive in the parlour, they notice a young woman wearing slippers and a white nightgown, approximately 16-year-old, standing in the open doorway, leading back towards the staircase. This is a few moments later. The players notice the young woman, Nicolia Wachter, stumbles into view from the staircase behind her, assuming the players do not otherwise divert. Right. So tell me who these people are. Right. Okay, so one of them is Stella. So we need Stella. Now, because... So we need... Blimey. See what I mean? This is why I do it off screen. My poor brain. So, we haven't got a Stella yet. We haven't got a... We haven't got Nikolai, although... Did we have somebody appear here? We've got Lady Fiona Wachter already. Do you know what? There's some of these names that I think, but I've used them already, and then they're not there. Now, a few moments after the players notice the young woman, Nikolai Wachter stumbles into view from the staircase behind her. So I need you again, please, sir. So drag this copy. Now normally you probably wouldn't do this and you're thinking, why are you... Put you in the right folder. No, not missing Vistani, we're down further. Lady Watchters. Why are you duplicating? And the reason why I'm duplicating these people and putting them into their own folders in their own arcs is purely because of the way that Curse of Strahd is being packaged for you guys by chapter. So what it means is that if you're currently running Arc F, you only need to import Arc F and you get everything you need to run it, all your actors and everything else. So it does mean the pack itself is a bit big because we are reusing, or rather we're using the same map several times and the same actor picture several times, but it does break it down as the arcs stand alone with all the resources you need to run them. And that's just a choice on my part to do it that way, for reasons. It just breaks it down. It means you haven't got to install the whole lot and have the entire Curse of Strahd in your Foundry game at the same time, which if you haven't got a brilliant machine or your players haven't got, you know, huge amounts of resources, it could cause problems. Now what I do need to bear in mind, of course, is the images for Nikolai are referenced in Into the Valley actors, which is not where I want this picture to be. I want it to be in Lady Watchters. So this is what I mean about duplicating those. So I need to go back into which one did I say it was? St. Andal's Feast actors, and I wanted to find... It wasn't... It was not in here. Oh dear. Is he in Missing Vistani? No, it's actually when they arrived, wasn't it? Oh, my brain. My poor brain. Was it Into the Valley? I think it was. And you can see my folders aren't all necessarily. There's Carl. So there we go. So we use that correct image, select that, and it just means that you don't end up with missing images, because again, this image is going to try and take from Into the Valley. If you haven't got that one installed, it will just fail to find your image for you. So that's what I mean about duplicating some of these. Just check his tokens. Okay, that's good, no problem. And then we can slap, because we've already got him, we can slap him out. Now what we do need to bear in mind is they don't see him at first, so I'm going to hide him in the wall and just hide him so he's ready to go. And this is what I mean about trying to prep these maps ready for when I run it, but also for you guys. So, you know, he's on hand, ready to go when you need him. He's just going to step into the doorway. You can unhide him. In fact, actually, where he is there, you don't even need to hide him. He's in a non-accessible, is accessible, but that's a hidden staircase, isn't it? How'd you get to that? No, don't start teleporting. That's obviously a staircase. Must be a secret door behind the cloaks there. But anyway, we'll get to that. So we need this young woman, Stella. Now we haven't got Stella, so again, we're going to create a new character. NPC. Brilliant. We're going to slap Stella in there, and I'm going to go off and make images for all these people shortly. So anybody else we need? Lady Wachterhaus herself. So again, we already have Lady Wachterhaus somewhere. Which wasn't in there. Lady Fiona Wachterhaus. So we once again we can duplicate Lady Fiona. We can slap her down here into the correct area. We can simply rename her to get rid of the word copy. We want to do again, so this is St Andrew's Feast. It's looking for this actor. We don't want it in there. We want it in Lady Wachterhaus in there. We haven't already got her. Choose the file. And was she in here? No, that's Into the Valley. She was in St Andrew's Feast. There she is. Bring her in. Lovely. So that's the token. Now we make sure we do the portrait as well. So again, it's looking in St Andrew's Feast, but we might not be in there. So let's make sure we pick up the correct one. So hopefully you can see I am trying to make this as easy for you guys as possible if you do bring this in. So we're going to need Lady Wachterhaus. I'm also going to hide her in the walls for the moment, which is fine because she's not going to appear quite yet. Who else do we need? Lady Wachterhaus. Halleck is mentioned again. Drinks in the parlour. The young woman. The young woman was Stella Wachterhaus. So I'm going to actually update this because she is Stella Wachterhaus. So let's give her a full name. Is that important? Not really, but as a DM, I find it's really helpful to remember, oh yeah, these people are related and things like that. So using those extra names, for me, I find really useful. If it doesn't for you, it doesn't matter, it's there anyway. So that's mostly a conversation with them. Dinner is served. So as the cocktail conversation draws to a close, Halleck enters the room to announce that dinner is served. As the players take their seat, David and Lady Wachterhaus, two maids. So we need two maids. We need, who was David? I've skipped a bit. Drinks in the parlour. The man with Stella. Yep, that's fine. Nikolai, we know him. Lady Wachterhaus attempts to engage in conversation. Bit of silence while I scan. Sorry. David. So who is? I've got to. So again, I'm going to do a little bit of like, who the heck was David? What was his name? David. So we've got another one there. That's not a name I recognise. I don't think we've got that one anywhere else. And we've got the two maids. And they've got names, which is useful because the players will bloody well talk to them. Don't want you as a player character, thank you. Brilliant. Lovely. And then the other maid. Now you notice that I'm putting in, they've only got first names, which is fine. I'm putting a hyphen and maid after it just as a little prompt to remember that they're a maid. So when I'm generating my images and things for them, I remember that they're a maid and they don't end up in a suit of armour. Okie dokie. So just scanning for the rest of this. Talking. It's just this. Talking. Yeah. Politics. Talking about Isaac and setting up the fact that they want to kill Isaac and why. The Watcher conspiracy. So all of this is a big role-playing thing, but I just want to make sure that I'm keeping, you know, that I'm setting up all the people that we need in this house or might need in this house. And then they return to the Blue Water Inn. So we've kind of covered the whole of this up to sort of like the traitor part of it. So I think we've got all the people we need. I just need to generate images for the two maids, for Halleck the Valet, for Stella Wachter, and find out Ernst, and find out who David is. So I will be back in a moment after I have done those things there. Okay, so we're back and I've done some production of some images. So all we're going to do is we're going to go through and we're going to, again, this is really boring. I know this is not an exciting video, but it does show the process. So we've got one of the maids, so we just need to make sure that we're selecting the images. Want to make sure we're in the right folder. Lady Wachter's Wish in the actors folder, correct? And then I want to choose my file, and I've just dropped all of these into my characters folder here. Ignore the brown bunny. The druid wanted to find an animal friend in the forest, all right? And I decided that she found a bunny. And who am I doing? Right, I am doing one of the maids. So here we go. That's the image I have selected for that. And I just need to make sure that it's using the same image from the right location for both of those. Quickly check the token, make sure the token is okay. That's fine. I don't want them to be hostile. Neutral is fine. And appearance, because I've got the rotate mod on, I need to, for me, turn that off. Now, you don't need to have the rotate mod on if you happen to have it installed. I think all of these actors should come in correctly, not rotating if they are if they're like NPC actors and have these type of tokens, these like square tokens. That should all work for you. But if you haven't got that mod, that's fine. They'll just come in and ignores that setting. You don't need to worry about it. I need to worry about it. Okay, so she's going to come in. She's one of the maids, so I'm going to stick her. See what I mean about like the grid sizes. You go, how big is this kitchen? That's a 10-foot wide kitchen. That's a perfectly acceptable size, but the tokens always, with these square tokens, always look really, really big for it. You know, I mean, yes, you can squeeze past each other as that's 5 foot, but realistically, you are taking up most of that space. But anyway, so there's one. Now, I found out who David was. He's the cook, which perhaps shouldn't be a big surprise. So I need to find David. And I've created an image for David. Where we go, with a nice chunk of meat in his hands. You can see Media Optimizer is doing its thing up here, which is one of the reasons why I have Media Optimizer, because obviously some of these files potentially when I produce them are quite big, unnecessarily big, so it just trims them all down so it's quicker for my players for those images and things to load in. It also makes the pack much smaller for when you guys get it and you know, you're trying to download it and use it and everything else. Makes your life easier too. So David is going to definitely be in the kitchen. That's where he belongs. You see, I didn't adjust his token and now he's rotating everywhere. So let's make sure we do that. So yeah, we're okay on that. Let's change that, say David the cook, just so that's on there. Brilliant. Again, don't want him being hostile. An appearance, I want him to be global default off for that rotation. I know I can update that token, but sometimes it's just easier to update the master one. There we go, he doesn't rotate anymore, which is perfect. I'm just going to stick him, I'm going to stick him there. Whoop. There we go, thank you very much. Not on grid. Okay, so who else we've got? Let's do the valet. So again, just finding the images I've produced for this. Now, what was his name? Oh, blimey. He had a rhyming name, didn't he? I've forgotten it already. Halleck the Valet. There we go. So we just make sure, yep, it's using from the same... No. Why would you pull from Lady Wachterhaus2? Have I just uploaded? Yeah, no, it is Lady Wachterhaus2. Oh, Jesus. My poor brain. Okay, that's fine. Let's make sure we adjust his token. Make sure he's not hostile, which is fine. And make sure he's not going to rotate. Again, not an issue for a lot of you, but let's get it right. And because he's the valet, we're going to pop him straight down here by the front door, because he's going to be the first person they encounter as they come in. So I popped him in there. You can see these images. I'm just using basically whatever AI throws at me that looks reasonable. Let's do this other maid then. Again, we're just picking, make sure we're in the correct folder, choose our image. You were M something, weren't you? There we go. And one of the annoying things with AI is it does like to choose young, attractive, slender women if you don't define otherwise, which is, yeah, that's a bit crap, isn't it? You know, you can kind of go, oh, give me a cook, and it will go for a female cook who happens to be young and buxom and everything else. Very, very non-diverse. You have to kind of define a little bit more. All right, so we've got the other maid, and I'm going to shove her in the kitchen as well for the moment. Now, in theory, the players aren't going to come into the kitchen. If they do, well, then yeah, they're busy getting ready for food, which is absolutely fine. So we've got that done. Now, Stella Watcher is the first one to appear. Now, in fairness, Stella actually is a young female, so she was quite easy to make because it did pretty much let me go with what the default was. Where are you? There she is, right in front of me. Blind as a bat. So there we go. We've got Stella in there. Again, we don't want her to be hostile, and we don't want her doing cartwheels all around the place. And of course, she appears quite early once they arrive in the room. Okay, it's just an image for them to look at. It doesn't need to be anything particular. So what I'm going to do, because she's going to arrive in this doorway, I'm just going to pop her down here and hide her for the moment, so the players can't see her. Same with these two. They're just effectively off scene for the moment. Now, I know I've got my health bars on. These are only on for the DM, just so you're aware. The same with the names. I mean, Fiona's is staying on rather than hover. Display name. Hovered by owner would be more useful. Just so for the DM's point of view, I can always see health bars if I need to for any reason, and if I hover over, I can see the names just to remind me who the heck they're talking to. For those people out there who've DM'd a lot, you will know that that is an absolute game changer, just to be able to go, who are you talking to? Oh, that's right, that's Stella. Oh, that one's Nicola, especially when you've got things like two different maids. You can't remember which one's which. And the fact they are a maid, and the fact that he's the cook, and the fact that he's the valet, really, really useful little thing that I like to do because I'm old and I'm very forgetful at times. And Ernst is, I didn't want to do that, I wanted to edit. Ernst is effectively the spy, so I went with something kind of, you know, that made him look a bit spy-like. Looks a little bit more Spanish Inquisition, but I think that's just fine. He's an advisor as well as being a bit of a spy and things like that, so I went with that. I also corrected my spelling of his name. I'd mistyped it. Okay, update that, update that. Now he, if you remember, he was in this room in the den, locked in, but is effectively spying on any conversations that are happening here, because that's his job. So I'm going to actually just move him and stick him in this corner, pretend that there's a peephole or something in the wall that he can use to keep an eye on them, or at very least listen to them. Right, I think this is all set up now. Because everything happens downstairs. There's nothing going on upstairs. Drinks in the parlour, which is where they are anyway. Blah, 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 blah. It's all discussions. Then they go and eat their dinner. And before they leave and go to the Blue Water Inn. So the only thing left to do now, we've got all the actors in here, is just to check that we're happy with our walls and stuff. Now, I did comment about this, didn't I? I've not got a wall in there, but that's the back of a closet. So what's going on there? If I look at the original module, I'm just bringing that up in the other window. Again, don't want to show you. I just wanted to check that, yes, indeed. No, secret doors. Thank you very much. That's a secret door across there. Come on, you can do it. There we go. So that is a secret door across there. So the players, if they come into this area, there is a secret door down there that takes them down into the cellar. Yes, down here into the cellar. So they'll come here. Now, another thing I need to do is check my regions. Now, somebody did query about my regions. Just because they weren't aware that they're on there. So if you haven't watched the whole lot and you don't know what's going on, we have created these regions in here. One, we've got this big region for the whole house that prevents the weather, stops it raining indoors, and also dims the lighting a bit because you're indoors. But we've also got these little ones here, these teleporters that teleport us up and down the stairs, or rather the players when they walk on it. So this one leads to outside here, and these stairs, sorry, leads to outside here, I should say, and these stairs is these ones here. So it's worth putting those in just on the off chance that the players use it. So let's draw a completely new region. Okay, and we're going to call this, and if you've seen me do this before, I'm naming the destination rather than the location of this. So up cellar trapdoors, and that will make sense in a moment why I've done that. So let's update that region. Okay, and that is coming from underground. It's coming from here. So I'm going to make sure I haven't got any regions selected when I draw a new region. I'm also going to get it to snap that. Thank you very much. And this is going to be down to cellar, which doesn't make sense because it's actually in the cellar, but it does make sense because I'm going to edit this down to cellar region. And on behaviors, what I want to do is on behaviors, I want this to teleport my token. Where do I want to teleport this token to? Well, I want to teleport it to this thing that says up cellar trapdoors. So I need to copy the UUID from there and tell it that's where I want it to go. Thank you. And because I'm going to go allow this choice, when they walk on that, it's going to ask them to say, do you want to move up cellar trapdoors? Rather than move to down cellar trapdoors, which doesn't make sense. So that's why it's worded that way round. So that one now works, and of course you can go the other direction. So on this one I need to do create behaviors. I'm going to create teleport my token, and where do I want to teleport them? I want to teleport them the other direction. Pop that in there, and yes, I'm going to ask them confirm as well. So those two are now linked. If you step on this one in the cellar, it says, do you want to do you want to move up the cellar trapdoors? And if you step on the top one, it says, do you want to move down to cellar? Hope that makes sense. So those are in place. Now I need to do one for here. Now exactly how it's the best place to do these stairs. I think probably in the middle of the stairs. So make sure I haven't got any of those selected, because I don't want to add this on to an existing one. We're going to pop that in there. Again, if this is the destination, so down to cellar, that's what I'm going to call that. And then all the way up here, I'm going to put just like I've got there, and next to it I'm going to put a new region about there, and I'm going to call that up to house. Okay, so cool. So up to house, I now need to give it that. Thank you very much. Up to house, I need to set that behavior. That behavior that I want is going to be teleport token. Where do I want to teleport that token to? I want to teleport them to, I've now got two called down to cellar, so I need to make sure I get the correct one. So it's not the blue one, it's this. So it's not that purple one over on the right, it's this one here. So get the UUID from there, slap that in there. Thank you very much. Want my players to be able to confirm. Thank you, that's done. And for this one, I want to add same behavior on, which is teleport token, but I'm going to go the opposite direction. So when you tread on the bottom one, it will say, you know, do you want to go up to house? Job done. And of course, what's really useful is just to try that out. Come here, Bray. When Bray walks here, it should say, there we go. Do you want to teleport Bray up to up cellar trapdoors? Yes, I do. And if he tries to go down them, it will say, do you want to teleport Bray down to cellar? Yes, I do. So those are working, goes both ways. Because I've put walls in, I've got to go around the stairs. And this is why, do I want to teleport up to house? Yes, I do. Do I want to teleport down to cellar? So you can see why those names are quite important to put what seems the wrong way round. Just make sure my walls and things are okay. They should be. We've put that secret door in. We've locked a couple of doors that should be locked now, which is good. I'm wondering if we lock this back door. I think that probably makes sense, doesn't it? Why would you have the back door just unlocked? The players are going to be coming in and out. Even if you just say, oh, there's a key in it, they can unlock it really easy. It makes sense that that is not just generally sitting open, especially with everything that's going on around here. It's not a friendly place you would leave your doors unlocked. We've got lighting, right, so let's look at our lighting. I've got everything switched on at the moment, which doesn't make sense. Is this secret room of occult practices going to be candle lit all the time? No, you're not going to have these places lit all the time if you're not there. Everything going on at the moment is taking place downstairs, so you're not going to have these lights on upstairs. So why am I not just deleting the lights? Because if the players do come up here, you want to have the lights really handy so you can just flick them on. I'm willing to leave the hall lights on. I think that makes sense that you would leave those on, so at least you don't fall up and down the stairs and die. We're going to turn the light off in the servants' quarters. We're going to turn the fire off in here. In fact, actually, we're going to leave the fire on. We're going to turn the lights off. Remember, he's supposed to be hiding in here. This is a locked room. It doesn't make sense if all the lights are on. The players will get suspicious. They will think something weird is going on. This is going to be well lit. We're going to have the parlour lit. The lights out the front are going to be lit. The kitchen needs to be lit. We can turn off this light and turn off the storeroom. I think that makes sense. This hallway is really dark with the doors closed. This stairway. We have got the light at the top of the stairs. So it's there. But it doesn't shed any light down here, does it? Mind you, that's because that's separate. I think that's fine because whenever the players open this, it's going to light the stairs enough. I love the way the lighting works in Foundry. Okay, so I think that's done. So I've waffled enough. This has been a really long video and we haven't even built the map. All we've done is look at putting the details in, making sure we've got our right characters in the right place, generating our images, which obviously I did off screen anyway. So you can just see how much time goes into doing this to try and kind of get this ready. It's one of the reasons why I wanted to build this as a pack for you guys, because not everybody has this amount of time to put together every scene. It's a big job. But if we want it to be nice, if we want it to work, we want it to do it properly. I've just realised that I probably want to do something about this region here. Teleport token, I'm going to disable that for now, because I don't want them wandering around the outside of the house and going straight down into the cellar. That's going to be locked from the inside, so I'll just disable that teleport for now. Right, sorry, I got distracted, of course I did. Yeah, so there's a lot of effort goes into this. Hopefully, if you guys are using it, it will save you hours and hours and hours of map prep, and you can just worry about prepping the actual adventure itself. So that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. If you watched all this way, you're amazing. Well done. A bit of an endurance test. But thank you very much. Leave a like, leave a comment. If you do want to support my work that I do, there is a link in the description for a Ko-fi or for a YouTube membership. Of course, you don't need to. You're not obligated in any way, shape or form. Comments and likes are perfectly adequate, but anything you want to do support is very gratefully received. Thank you very much. Take care, and I will see you in the next one.